gonna sing. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. So how about you? Do you love yourself just the way you am? Do you? Do you love yourself just the way you are? Because maybe, you know, there's those moments. I don't. I'm sure there's those moments you don't. And I think that when we don't, it's because we maybe haven't taken the well-known words of Marianne Williamson to heart. She wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us." We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us. It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So that's what we've got to remember. This truth that is woven through this, I think it's chapter 12 of Pierre Pradervand's book, The Gentle Art of Blessing. This presence that is within us, the truth of who we are. So the purpose of today's message is to support each other in loving ourselves just the way we are, in all our glory. And even when we're not being so glorious, right? And the human condition is that, what do? We criticize ourselves, we put ourselves down, we condemn ourselves. It's not safe for us to walk through the corridor of our own mind. You know, I asked you a few weeks ago, is it safe for other people to walk through the corridor of your mind? Well, are we safe walking through the corridor of our own minds? And the spiritual solution to that is to praise and bless ourselves for the essence of love that we are. Remembering that we are the love that created us. We are the love that created us. I invite you to affirm, I am the love that created me 3 times. I am the love that created me. I am the love that created me. I am the love that created me. And feel that, and not just feel it, just allow it to permeate every cell and atom of your body, your heart, your soul, your mind. I am the love that created me. And so are you. So, what do you think's in it for you to love yourself? What would that do for you?
Freedom.
Freedom?
Peace.
Peace?
Contentment.
Contentment?
And help me to love others.
Yeah, it would help me to love others if I love myself. That too. How about, by loving myself, I attract the love of other people. You know, why should they love me if I don't, right? And he says, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Isn't that great, to love myself? For you to love yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance, because you know we are the only person we're guaranteed to have our whole life. Right? I am the only person I'm guaranteed to have my whole life. You are the only person you are guaranteed to have your entire life. And by loving ourselves, not only are we able to love others, we're able to forgive others and ourselves. I can't forgive myself if I don't love myself. So forgiveness is also part of this chapter, but I'm not going to focus on the F word this time in this message. Forgive, forgive, forgive. Okay, so if we realize, as Marianne Williams tells us, that we are a child of God, and it's in every one of us, this spark of divinity, this love that created us. So how arrogant, how dare we not love ourselves if the love that created us loves us? You know, who are we not to love ourselves? So we're made in this image and likeness of God, and we are that love. That is our essence, regardless of how we're showing up. You know, because when we come into this body, we come into this, we have this thing called an ego. And it's the ego that doesn't love us or other people. It's the ego that doesn't forgive ourselves or forgive others. It's not the love that we are. The love that we are is love. That's all it does, is love. So our job is to see ourselves as love sees us. Wow, now that would be third eye, good vision, right? To see ourselves as love sees us. That we are made in the image and likeness of love. And therefore we are inherently good, no matter how we're acting, no matter what the appearances are. We are love at our very core. Love is our divine inheritance. So how dare we not love ourselves? Pierre Pradervand says, deep inside you exists a space of infinite beauty and rest, of total unconditional love, of goodness without limits, of unshakable peace and calm, of dancing joy and playful being, of limitless vision and infinite abundance. And this space inside us was before the body, and it will be after the body. So why not act like it while we're in the body? Yeah, you know? So no event in our life, no crippling disease, torment, suffering, or childhood trauma, absolutely nothing will ever mar our wholeness, which constitutes our true identity. I had a prayer call last night from a person outside the congregation, and this was my message to her, because she was struggling with forgetting who she was, who she is, and how she has no power over anybody else in the world but herself. I remember I guess the reason that I'm in Unity today started with the first time I ever walked into a Unity church. And that was Unity of Hawaii on the slopes of Diamond Head. I went there because I was trying to sell Amway. It's a very spiritual story. I never did sell a box of soap, but what I heard at one of those meetings was, hey, there's this church that's like going to a Dale Carnegie course once a week. And my ears perked up because I think there was this part of me that really wanted a spiritual home, but I couldn't handle the way I had been brought up with sin and a God that judged me and all that stuff. So I thought, what the hey, you know? So I showed up on the slopes of Diamond Head the following Sunday morning, and what I heard was this idea that I am good, that I'm worthy, that I am loved. I never heard that in my Baptist upbringing. I'm sorry. I was never told that, and I hope that maybe in some Baptist church they do say that, but not the one I grew up in. And I remember being just amazed. I had never heard I was good, that I was lovable, much less that I was love itself. And at that time, I bought myself a pendant, and it had the hashtag, we call it hashtag now, the number sign, 1. And I wore that pendant for years and years and years to remind myself that I had to love myself first, that I had to put myself first, that I was of no earthly good to anybody else if I didn't love myself. I want to share with you a poem, the first part of a poem by Robert Browning from Paracelsus. Truth, with all capital letters, truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things, whate'er you may believe. There is an inmost center in us all, where truth abides in fullness, and around, wall upon wall, the gross flesh hems it in. This perfect, clear perception, which is truth, binds it and makes all error. And to know, all capitals, K-N-O-W, rather consists in opening out a way whence the imprisoned splendor may escape, than in effecting entry for a light supposed to be without. You know, everywhere we turn, we are given this message that we are this light, we are this love. And what I thought about when I was rereading this chapter was of Myrtle Fillmore. Myrtle Fillmore is a co-founder of Unity. We call her the heart of Unity because she had the mystical experience that is the foundation for Unity. She had a healing from a mystical experience. And I want to read you, there's a pamphlet called How I Found Health. And I don't know if we have any in the bookstore right now, but we should. Okay? But I want to read you an excerpt from it. Because what she did was, Pierre Pradervand in this chapter talks about shifting, I don't know if he uses that word, but from criticizing and condemning himself to blessing himself. And that's what Myrtle Fillmore did. She said, I told the life, she had, by the way, she had tuberculosis in the late 1800s. It was called consumption at the time. And she didn't just bless her lungs, okay? She said, I told the life in my liver that it was not torpid or inert, but full of vigor and energy. I told the life in my stomach that it was not weak or inefficient, but energetic, strong, and intelligent. I told the life in my abdomen that it was no longer infested with ignorant ideas of disease put there by myself and by doctors but that it was all a thrill with the sweet, pure, wholesome energy of God. I told my limbs that they were active and strong. I told my eyes that they did not see of themselves, but they expressed the sight of spirit, and that they were drawing on an unlimited source. I told them that they were young eyes, clear, bright eyes, because the light of God shone through them. I told my heart that the pure love of Jesus Christ flowed in and out through its beatings, and that the entire world felt its joyous pulsation. I went to all the life centers in my body and spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power. I asked their forgiveness for the foolish, ignorant course that I had pursued in the past, when I had condemned them and called them weak, inefficient, and diseased. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring the words of truth until the organs responded. And neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them that they were no longer in bondage to the carnal mind, that they were not corruptible flesh, but centers of life and energy, omnipresent. Then I asked the Father to forgive me for taking his life into my organism and there using it so meanly. I promised him that I would never, never again retard the flow of life through my mind and my body by any false word or thought, that I would always bless it and encourage it with true thoughts and words in its wise work of building up my body temple, that I would use all diligence and wisdom in telling it just what I wanted it to do. In those paragraphs, in those words, Myrtle Fillmore has given us the prescription for healing our body and a model for how to love and bless us. You know, some of you have heard that, and I had quit doing this for a while, and I started it back up this morning. That after I shower, I take lotion and I do this thing. I go, as I'm putting the lotion on my body, I say, I love my body. I love every cell and atom, every bone, every tissue, every organ, every system, every function, every particle, every space, every wave. I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I behold your magnificence. I am beautiful, magnificent, healthy, whole and well, vital, fit and trim, balanced, in order, in harmony with everything and everyone in my environment. So,
what's on that lotion?
We're going to start selling it in the bookstore. It's called Love Lotion. Love Lotion. And that affirmation, it's actually on our website. Yeah, it's somewhere on the prayer website, because people asked me to put it up there a few years ago. So anyway, so that's how we love ourselves. You know? We tell ourselves we have to speak the words. We love our body, but we love all aspects of ourselves. And just like Myrtle realized all the negative things she had been saying about our body, we need to realize and catch ourselves when we're saying negative things and turn it around to the very opposite. And we do this, we start doing it every day. I consider, I tell the prayer chaplains, prayer isn't about, oh, let's take a moment, let's hold hands, and let's just breathe gently. Prayer can be so much more than that. And that prayer I do with, that thing I do with my body is a prayer. I'm affirming the truth, regardless of appearances. And I want to encourage you that in this chapter of the Gentle Art of Blessing, he has two great meditations. One about loving yourself and one about forgiving yourself. And I encourage you to do each one of them at least once. And then to just bless yourself. Not just in your formal times of prayer, but bless yourself throughout the day as a wonderful beingness that is your true nature. You know, it's just like when we're blessing others, we have to see beyond the veil of the sacred human to the Christ, to the love that they are. And we have to do that same thing to ourselves. Oh, I'm out of time, but I got to tell you one more story. I didn't write it down, but there's a woman named Evie McDonald, and I've told this story a number of times, but I know there's somebody in here that hasn't heard it, so I have to tell it again. And Evie McDonald had Lou Gehrig's disease, and she had deteriorated to the point where she described herself as a bowl of Jell-O in a wheelchair. And she decided that before she died, because death was pretty imminent, that she wanted to experience love. So she would wheel herself in front of a mirror naked every morning in the wheelchair, and she would find something she loved about herself. And she would tell herself she loved herself. There are some other things you can look it up on the web, Evie McDonald. Anyway, she eventually was totally healed. Totally healed. She is still alive today. This was like 20-some years ago, maybe more. And she's a Methodist minister, United Methodist minister. So this is a real person who learned to love herself. She wasn't seeking love outside herself. She wanted to experience love. So she's a great example too. So, and then if you don't know the phrase about, I want you to quit criticizing and condemning yourself. When you hear yourself do it, I want you to hear Bob Newhart say, "Stop it!" And if you don't know what that means, you go to YouTube and you search for "Stop It," Bob Newhart, okay? And just tell yourself, "Stop it." And so I found a quote that I thought was great by someone named Andre Gide. He said, "Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity." Loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. And so I celebrate that each one of us goes forth from this message today, from this service today, blessing ourselves, loving ourselves enough, just the way we are. And let's begin doing that right now in a sacred time of shared prayer. So let's just relax the body, allow it to relax. Clear the mind, and open the heart. Let's begin contemplating that there is an infinite, tenderly encompassing power of love that loves us beyond measure, that loves us totally, completely, unconditionally. Try to really feel this in your heart, not in your head. Feel the love that created you. And as you feel this love, hear these words as if spoken by you, to you, through my voice. The infinite love that governs the universe cherishes me completely. In the eyes of the beloved, I am infinitely precious. And even if I do not yet feel this, I am totally one with this source of infinite, unlimited goodness. I feel the strength, tenderness, gentleness, and intelligence of this infinite love that created me in its image and likeness. This love that surrounds and enfolds me completely. This love from which I can never be separated, which is closer to me than my own thoughts. I listen now as that love that I am silently whispers to me, "You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased." In the silence. As we gently bring our attention back to this time and place, silently say, "Thank you, divine beloved, that I am dearly beloved by the love that created me in its image and likeness, by the love I am. Thank you, love that I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you, that I am so, that it is so, and so it is."